Okay. All right. Good morning. So today just had, a team meeting this morning, working through first and second down, game planning. It's going really well. Really the message for the guys at the team meeting was to outline the week. We'll be inside today because of the winds, just so we can work on the first and second down pass game going forward, as well as the run game. So we thought that would be best for us. Again, practice is shortened down. We'll finish with 2 walkthrough periods at the end, just to keep the guys fresh. And then we'll see where we are the rest of the week in terms of the weather, being inside or out. But overall, it's been a good start to Packer Week, so we're excited about it. Talked to the guys about the opportunity we have to really showcase our improvement, showcase our abilities, and showcase our playmaking ability. So we're certainly excited about that. As you guys know, injury report will come out post-practice, but a couple updates before that. Fields' shoulder, he's going to be limited today, as he was last week. He continues to improve, but he'll be day by day as we go. Trevor Siemian, because of his oblique injury that he had, will be out today for rest. He'll also be day by day. And as you will see in a little bit, we signed Tim Boyle from Detroit practice squad, signed him to the active roster, just for purposes of, when you have 2 quarterbacks that are dealing with injuries and you have Nate on the roster, it's really just we're doing it for a precaution to make sure we're covering all of our bases, and we're squared away with that. And then Ryan and his staff did that recently. And it's really because of the familiarity he has with Luke, obviously being in Green Bay from the 18 to 20 there, so that's squared away there. Other roster moves, we have A.J. Thomas, defensive back, going to the active roster. We placed Darnell Mooney and Eddie Jackson on IR, as you guys saw. We signed Adrian Colbert to the practice squad Tuesday. Today we'll be adding D-line Andrew Brown from the Cardinals practice squad. Dane Cruikshank will go on IR as well. And we're now at 53 and 15 on the practice squad. So a lot of action there, obviously, much more than we've had all year. But a lot of moving parts for the coaches. When you have that many moving parts, we got to do a really good job of teaching, coaching our systems to get guys ready to go in starting roles or in a backup role, if they need be, based on injury and how things work out during the course of the week. So we're in the process of that right now. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
Is the expectation for Peterman to take the bulk of the quarterback team reps?
No, it'll be a situation where he'll take some reps, and again, I don't talk about details of reps, but Justin is limited. He'll take some reps today, and we'll see how it goes.
With Eddie Jackson going on IR, do you expect that to be season-ending, or is there a chance he can come back towards the end of the year?
Yeah, Eddie's done for the year. Yep, it's Liz Frank, as you guys know, saw in the media. So it's he's done for the year. We don't know surgery or not. We got to wait and see when he sees the doctor, but we'll get that squared away later.
Coach, how much of a factor is it the environment that you're going to play in? How much of a factor is that in terms of where you practice? I know going into Atlanta week, you practice outside a lot. This week, playing at Soldier Field. Yeah. Considering maybe practicing inside all week.
Yeah. The plan is not to go in all week, but again, we want to be able to execute, and we want to be able to look at the weather, what it is going to be on Sunday. Because that's the most important thing, matching that up with what we can. But we certainly will get outside, once or twice for sure, to work, in the elements. But we just feel today the best way to, operate our first and second down game plan is to go inside.
Does Peterman's health have any effect on how you plan on treating Justin's injury?
No, they're individual. They're individual. They're not related.
When you have this many injuries and to team leaders, and you're dealing with a losing streak, how do you kind of gauge the pulse in the room and making sure everyone's attention stays on what they can do?
Yeah, I think that's always important. You gauge it. I have one-on-one conversations with pretty much everybody on the team. I have a leadership council that I work with this morning. We meet for 20 minutes. Many times because I'm here early, guys come in early, I'm talking to guys one-on-one. And the one-on-one conversations are big. They're important because you can look at a man in the eye and talk face-to-face, man-to-man. I think that's an important piece to leadership, and I think it's an important piece to making sure the team morale is the right way, and really focusing on that is the way we do it.
At wide receiver, with Mooney stepping away, he's gotten the most targets, he's gotten the most snaps, all of that. Is there someone that you would really like to see get the bigger opportunity now to see what they can do that you haven't seen enough from this season?
Yeah, good question. I think it's going to be by committee. I think we're going to have to spread the ball around. Obviously, Mooney is a dynamic player. He's had a good chemistry with Justin, and the rest of the quarterbacks, and I think we got to do it by committee. I think, using all of them, the best way we can based on their skill sets.
As an extension
Seems like it would be like a big opportunity for Pringle, because Pringle has been out a lot of the year, but he also has kind of a similar game to Mooney's a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is a big opportunity for him, like I said, and others too. Obviously Pringle had a nice game last week. He caught a nice touchdown pass, blocked well in the run game. Had a couple nice targets, but it was good for him.
What would you like to see from Claypool down the stretch of the season, just to have a sense that he's trending in the direction where you want him to go?
Yeah, just, clean operation, like we do with all our receivers, alignment, assignment, get lined up, and know the motions, know your force blocks, and then really just playmaking ability. Let's see him get the ball in the deep part of the field. Obviously, we saw that last week. It was a nice catch, staying in bounds, and, we ended up missing the fade on the one, but yeah, just more of that.
When you were describing Simeon's injury, you said the word rest. Is it safe to say that you hope you can practice later in the week because you're sitting in today? Or is this an injury that you think?
Yeah, it's day to day. It'll be see how he feels, see what the medical staff says, and we'll see where it goes from there.
With Halas Jones, we've heard a lot about consistency. You guys need to see consistency for him to get more involved on offense, et cetera. What is it that you need to see him doing consistently? Like, what is the consistency that you need to see?
Well, it's like anybody that's coming in that's new, rookie or a guy that we acquired. It's always about, hey, can you play fast? How do you play fast? Well, you do that by, I know my alignment, I know my assignment, and man, I can go rip it and go play. And I can discern things on the fly. If we end up changing the play or adjusting the play at the line of scrimmage, can you adjust and can you do that? And he's been better, really better at it, and he's getting better at it. And that's why he's seeing more touches and seeing more things. But we're always looking to get him involved because he's a heck of an athlete, and he's an explosive player, and we want to get him involved.
Do you think Leatherwood is ready to play?
We'll see how the week goes. Like I said before, I believe that Wood has done a really good job of progressing. Simo's done a really good job as a coach. Austin King's done an awesome job as well. Those guys have had a lot of combinations during the course of this year, and those guys have functioned at a really high rate in the run game, getting better in the pass game in terms of the pass pro. And Leatherwood's no different. I think he's going to be right there with them. And if he has the opportunity to play, if Riley is a day-to-day thing as well, and if he has the opportunity to play, I think he'll play well.
Are you intrigued to see what he can do? Because you didn't have him in preseason. You haven't thrown him out there yet. Is part of you intrigued, like, what can this guy do?
Yeah, we've seen progress, because he's played inside and outside for us over the last several weeks since he came back, and we are excited, and intrigued to see where it goes because he is a heck of an athlete at that position, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Matt, when it comes to Justin, how much are you taking into account the fact that there's a bye week next week? How much does that enter your thought process, the potential to give him the 3 weeks off and then maybe he's back after that?
Yeah, it's really just day to day, so it doesn't really factor in. It's really what he is this week, So if he, like those 3 hurdles we been talking about, if he feels really comfortable and feels great and his mobility and strength's back from the medical staff, and then we look at, as GM head coach, look at it and say, hey, green light, then it's a green light, So we'll see it during the course of the week, but this is on a 1 week thing, day to day for this week.
If he's good to go, in the interest of not only his health but his development, would you and Coach Gessie maybe get together and say, hey, we're going to do less of this design runs, not only to keep him safe, but also for his development as a passer, not so much trying to, okay, what's the best way for us to move the ball, but let's get him, enough reps in the passing game going.
Yeah, that's great, Herb. That's a really good question. I would say that, we're always doing that. And I've said that, for weeks, since we've been, he started to come on, is that we always got to be protective of the quarterback. We got to keep him safe. He's got to keep himself out of harm's way. And the situation this week's no different. Certainly, we look at all that every single week because that's our quarterback, and we want to make sure he stays safe.
You got a longer look at Darrington Evans on Sunday. What did you see out of him in the reps that he got offensively?
Yeah, a lot what we've seen in practice. He's an explosive athlete. You saw him make that one catch. He did a real nice job of making that safety miss and taking it down there. And we always do a good job of, falling forward. He did a nice job of that. Yeah, and he did a nice job in protection as well. So he knew his assignment. He played fast. So that shows that he knew his assignment, knew what he was supposed to do, and we're excited for him.
Matt, are the rookies back
They're day-to-day. Those guys are day-to-day, and we'll see where they go today.
He's still in the concussion protocol?
Yeah, they're in it until they come out, until they come out. There's a process for that, for the league. They go day by day. They have to go through these hurdles, and we'll see where they go.
This is the guy who made his defensive debut last week. What did you see out of him in his debut, and I guess what are you looking for moving forward with him?
Yeah, much like I've seen in special teams. He's does a good job in space. He's done well that way in terms of our special teams. Now, he was playing in the deep part of the field mostly. And again, he's got to do a really good job of tackling because when the ball comes through there, you got to make your tackle. So he needs to keep improving that. But he did make a couple nice ones. So he's improving.
Back to Herb's question. Whatever games Justin does play down the stretch of the season, what do you want to see that tells you the growth as a passer is coming along the way you want to see it?
Yeah, just much of the same. Since I started seeing it at the New York Giants game. When he made a couple connections with Mooney and a couple other guys, and just continued progress. Continued progress. Efficiency, running the offense. Staying in balance. Throwing the ball away when he's supposed to throw the ball away. Throwing the checkdowns when he's supposed to do that. And he's talked about that at length. He wants to do that more. So just more of the same.
How do you evaluate Braxton Jones, kind of what he's gone through this season at that spot?
Yeah, it's good. The maturity level, number one, for a rookie to be able to play that tackle position, the entire year, and his ability to run block, pass block. Does he need to improve? Sure. All the rookies need to improve. Everybody needs to get better. But he's improving, and he's getting better. And he's showing his maturity. Because, they always talk about the rookie wall and all those things. I don't really see any of our guys hitting that. I think those guys are really doing a good job of staying the course, staying in the moment, staying in this Wednesday to execute this Wednesday, and I think he's doing a good job.
Now, you guys
What do you
presume,
like positive and negative out of Sanborn just last week?
Yeah. So positive, obviously, a lot of tackles, which shows that he has great instincts and good tackling ability. I thought last week, and he would say this too, that we tackled too high. We're a low tackling group. I think we just tackled too high as a group, and he was one of them. We just got to bring his pads down. Bring his pads down to waist level, wrap through the tackle and run your feet. And he's just got to do that basic fundamental, and I think he'll improve.
Hammer that point home, because there have been a lot of high tackles this year where guys kind of bounce off guys, and there's like, why aren't you going for the legs, right? So how do you kind of like?
Yeah, just keep drilling it. You show it in the meetings. You walk through it. You show them where we need to be in terms of our pad level. Then you drill it. And then you get in that position when you're approaching the tackle in practice. Obviously, we can't take guys down in practice, but we can do simulated drills, during that time during individual, and just keep hammering it home. Because it is the most effective tackle you can use, and we've got years of data on that.
Matt, are you prepared with the presumption that Aaron Rodgers is going to play tonight?
It sounds that way. Yeah, we're presuming that is the case.
How do you guys split up your game planning? When they're, I know you've talked about, well, quarterbacks have different styles. That might make a little more energy in it. These two quarterbacks appear to have different styles.
Yeah, we'll be preparing for Aaron. Yep.
This is a unique situation with the Week 14 bye.
Yeah.
As a coach, what are the challenges that presents both on the front end and the back end of just trying to deal with a mid-December bye?
Yeah, so when we looked at it, all those weeks ago, we looked at it and said, hey, we got that Thursday game, with the Monday game after, the Washington going into New England. So we had a chance to get that bonus day there. So we really got the guys off, got them away for that bonus day. And then when you start going through these weeks, leading up to your bye week, which is week 14, you really got to be smart, how you operate. And we did that last week. We had to walk through practices. The week before we started several weeks before, we took some periods off on Wednesday. And just got to get guys off their feet, make sure they're doing things with the prehab, post rehab and all that thing to get their legs ready to go. But really, it's being mindful and really talking to the players. That's why we have that leadership council to be able to get feedback from those guys, work with the coaches to make sure we design the practices to keep them fresh.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.